Hey reviewers, and welcome back to the channel, and I hope you guys have been well. On today's video, this is just a bit of an update on breaking in the Kawasaki Z H2. This is my baby, this is my bike, and yeah, just to give you a bit of a feel for how I'm finding it so far. And then the next thing will be the full review, and then we're going to be getting all the mods on the bike. Let's get into it. Oh man, I don't think I've quite yet got used to how sudden the acceleration is on this bike. Absolutely crazy. Right then gang, so I hope you've been well. So this is just a bit of an update on the Z H2 like I mentioned then. So since I first got it, I've now done 408 miles, and I've made sure I've varied my my power and the rev range throughout. I won't say I've babied it because I don't really believe in that, but what I did do is quite early on, we did a full oil change, and we also got a new filter in there and all the rest of it. So in fairness, it's pretty much already had now its first service. When it hits 600, I'm basically taking it back to the garage, and they're just going to do a visual kind of health check of it really at that point, but everything else is done. So just to talk to you about what I did for breaking in this bike then, which is not going to be rocket science, no real revelation to anybody, but as you know, for the first like very few miles, I literally rode it home because of the rain. So, you know, I kind of like started her up, warmed her up, and just kind of babied her. I then took her out for another ride, and again, just kind of fairly lowish speeds, low RPM, certainly nothing above 6, but that was only for about 10 miles. Then I started to kind of build it up and vary the rev range a little bit. I won't go into specifics about how high I went, but let's just say it wasn't at the top, and it wasn't full throttle. It was just to kind of stretch her legs a little bit, and I certainly haven't kind of ragged it at any point. But what I have done is made sure I've just kind of gone through the rev range, certainly gone through the gears, just to make sure everything's working properly really, and as it should do. And I'm pleased to report that, yeah, as far as I'm aware anyway, everything is working spot on. I did find on the brakes, because they are Brembos, but they're not Stylemas like they are on the new SE version. I did find those to begin with were a little bit unresponsive, not the best feel from them, but actually as you get used to them, they're yeah, they're pretty decent. But yeah, Stylemas they're not, but for the road, honestly, absolutely spot on. And yeah, so I bed those in a little bit. Suspension wise, I think I'm probably gonna have to change the rear shock. Yeah, so even though I've started back up with the gym, as most of you know, I'm a big chap, so I don't think the rear shock is capable of taking my 20 stone odd at the moment. I've heard that Nitron rear shocks are pretty decent, but for any of you, you know, Z heads out there, and if you've got this bike, if you've done the upgrade for the rear shock, hey chaps, what did you change it for, and how did you find it? It seems like it's a fairly easy job to do. I'm not saying necessarily I'm going to do it on my Todd, but I might give it a whirl if it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, which ones did you go for, and which ones do you recommend? Let me know in the comment section. In terms of the ergos, just initial thoughts then. Yeah, I really like the ergonomics on this bike. I think the wheelbase is quite short, and I think you start to realise that as you learn the bike a bit more and push it, shall we say. She's an absolute animal, and I love her for that, so I'm not going to take anything away. It's very easy to wheelie the bike. It's very easy to wheelie this bike, but she handles so well, even for quite a heavy machine, which is, you know, 239 kg if you didn't know. But yeah, she doesn't mess around. But yeah, in terms of performance, I mean, just check some of this out. That was a tiny bit of air over that bump there. Just oh man, she's just crazy. Because of the torque of this bike, some 140 Newton meters. It's just insane, you know. It really is. You know, a tiny bit of throttle in the right power bands, and the wheel will just coast a little bit more, and that wheel's going up. But yeah, absolutely awesome machine. So from the short time that I've had with it, absolutely brilliant. We are potentially looking at, because I think we've pretty much ended it for this season, we are looking at doing a track day, potentially with Groombridge Motorcycles actually, and a few of the guys that they know for next year. By then I'm hoping to have personally shed quite a few pounds, because that's probably one of the best ways I can improve our overall performance. But secondly, yeah, we've got the rear can to go on there, and then I might start looking at a couple of other little bits, little carbon bits that are out there. Just try and tweak a little bit here or there, shave a little bit off. But you know, overall ergonomics, feel, ride and handling, yeah, she's absolutely brilliant. You noticed I put that screen on there as well, and it wasn't because I'm complaining of wind because it's a naked machine. I knew it was naked when I bought it. I know it doesn't have fairing. This is actually more for top end stuff, because it doesn't make a huge difference until you get to those higher speeds, and then when you do, if you tuck down, because of the way this is now designed, it feels a lot like a super sport, and being the big guy that I am at those higher speeds, that helps. So I'm thinking ahead for track days and other bits, that's going to be useful. But yeah, pretty much other than that, she's awesome, you know. I've made sure, as I say, braking in wise, went through the rev range, always warmed her up, a few heat cycles here or there. I wouldn't say I've hard broke her in, but she responds really really well now. There's no no choppiness, no hesitation. Tyres, I mean, I might need to look at tyre pressures more than anything, if I'm honest with you, but I'm running stock settings for pressures. I don't feel like the tyres on this bike fill me with confidence, and I don't know if that's just things that I've heard online. Partly it might be, but a lot of the other bikes I've had, you kind of just fully trust the tyres, don't you? So when you're like banking over, you're going in, you put trust in them. With this, for me, the front feels just a little bit disengaged. Now I don't know if that could be a suspension tweak as well. That's quite likely, because these are stock settings and I might need to get the bike set up for me. But yeah, apart from that, I can't really fault the bike. Quick shift has been pretty decent so far. I haven't used it a huge amount, to be honest with you. It seems a little bit choppier at some of the lower speeds, but to be fair, I barely use it at low speeds. I'm talking about like the higher RPM that I'm going to use that quick shifter, and at those RPM it's buttery smooth, like instant engage. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that was it really. Just a bit of an update on the braking of the bike, really. All going well, mods come in, and then as soon as I can get hold of one, I'm going to be going in big time. I'm getting the full Bren tune to unlock this beast, and a PCV, you know, Power Commander 5, get everything set up. But these are all going to be next year mods, but the mods for this year are going to be the Scorpion can, and the sprint filter as well. So I'm not expecting massive power gains. These are all about making sure she's prepped and ready for when we tune her properly. However, we will shave off a few kg, probably 3 or 4 from the Scorpion can, and it's just about helping her breathe a little bit better. At the end of the day, she's only going to take in what she needs on the stock tune, but once we've unlocked her and she gets tuned properly, that's when we can really make the most of de-restricting it, and at that point I'll probably get full system down, so headers and all. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. Just an update on that one. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go take this bike for a proper black now. So as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.